Good morning. I'm Lillian Lockett, and I'm chair of the Breakfast Committee, and we want to welcome all of you here this morning. Thank you so much for coming out. We did have to go virtual because of course, the mighty COVID, but we are so glad you're able to join us, and we thank the participants who are here as well. This is our annual Commemoration Committee, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Committee Community Breakfast. And we want to thank Lakefront TV because, as Cheryl has said, you can also watch it on the local channel, Facebook Live, and it will be posted to YouTube. All of that is live, so keep your real smiley faces on. Our theme this year is Standing United in Times of Change, Challenge, and Controversy. This is very appropriate at this critical time of moving forward and keeping Dr. King's dream alive. We are very fortunate this morning to have as our Mistress of Ceremony, Linda Shepherd Miller, affectionately known by her student body as Mama Hawk. She is the dynamic principal of Lake Mineola High School, which is one of the first in Central Florida to implement an iPad-based education. The school is one of the top-rated high schools in Central Florida and has continued to maintain an A rating since 2019. Ms. Shepherd Miller was voted Lake County Principal of the Year 20 and 21. Outstanding principal she is. The school motto is, Hawks are honorable, academically focused, wise, kind-hearted, and successful. What a great, great motto. That is preparing her students to meet all of life's challenges. Let's now give a warm welcome to our Mistress of Ceremony, Miss Linda Mama Hawk Shepherd Miller.
Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Good morning, and I'm so proud to be here to serve as your Mistress of Ceremony. I'm not going to prolong the program because I know that we are on a time limit. But at this time, we will have the presentation of the colors. If everyone would please stand. Presentations of colors, Honor Guard, Lake County Sheriff's Office. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have our national anthem by Mr. Doug Major.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, we will have our invocation. Pastor David Stauffer, pastor of Morrison United Methodist Church, Leesburg, Florida.
Halfway through my prayer, I'll be praying a prayer written by Dr. King entitled, "Shake Us from Our Slumber." You'll be able to tell when I leave my prayer and go into his. Let us pray. Gracious Creator, we welcome your presence among us this morning as we celebrate the life and legacy of your servant, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. We thank you that his life and work continue to influence us in our own day. We thank you that remembering him causes us to awaken to the realities of our world. We are mindful that there has been progress, and yet there is so much work to do. We are aware that there is justice, but we often see the brutality and pain of injustice. We believe we are to love our neighbors, but too often we don't even see them. On this day of remembering and celebration, help us hear once again the call to live justly. Help us to hear again the call to unity. Help us to hear again the call to respect and give dignity to all people. Help us to hear once more the call to tear down the barriers that exist between peoples. O Lord, when our eyes do not see the gravity of racial justice, shake us from our slumber and open our eyes, O Lord. When out of fear we are frozen into inaction, give us a spirit of bravery. When we try our best but say the wrong things, give us a spirit of humility. When the chaos of this dies down, give us a lasting spirit of solidarity. When it becomes easier to point fingers outwards, help us to examine our own hearts. God of truth, in your wisdom enlighten us. God of hope, in your kindness heal us. Creator of all people, in your generosity guide us. Racism breaks your heart. Break our hearts for what breaks yours, O Lord. Ever-present God, you called us to be in relationship with one another and promised to dwell wherever two or three are gathered. In our community, we are many different people. We come from many different places, have many different cultures. Open our hearts that we may be bold in finding the riches of inclusion and the treasures of diversity among us. We pray in faith. Amen.
Amen. We may all have come on different ships, but we are all in the same boat now. At this time, we will have greetings in the following order. Mike Penderson, Mayor, the City of Leesburg, Florida. Sean Parks, Chair, Lake County Commissioners. Diane Cornegie, Superintendent, my Superintendent, Lake County Schools. And Dr. Stanley Sador, Lake-Sumter State College, in that order.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the city of Leesburg. I'm proud to represent the city, participate in this celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I'm going to now read a proclamation. Whereas Dr. Martin Luther King devoted his life to the advancement of civil rights and public service and challenged every American to join in the never-ending work of furthering equality, social justice, and opportunity for all. And whereas the Congress and President of the United States have designated the third Monday in January of each year as a national holiday to honor and celebrate the birth, life, and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And whereas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is the only federal holiday designated as a national day of service to encourage all Americans to volunteer to improve their communities and to recognize that we must work together to make a positive difference in our world. And whereas Dr. King's teachings continue to guide and inspire us today as we confront the challenges faced by our nation and city and help strengthen our resolve that each and every one of us can and must contribute to making our community better for all citizens. And whereas the residents of Leesburg, Florida believe in Dr. King's vision and principles and demonstrate this belief through participation in civic and commemorative activities. And whereas the theme of the 2022 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration is Standing United in Times of Change, Challenge, and Controversy. Now therefore, I, Mike Peterson, Mayor of the City of Leesburg, do hereby proclaim that January 17th, 2022 shall be observed as Martin Luther King Day Jr. in the City of Leesburg, encourage all citizens to pay tribute to his life and works by participating in the celebratory events honoring Dr. King's dream. Thank you very much for letting me participate.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Lake County, isn't it? Let me first start by telling you it is an honor to be here to represent the Board of County Commissioners and represent you this morning as we honor a true American hero, a true American patriot, Dr. Martin Luther King. I hear the call, and I just want to start this morning by saying I hear the call, and I want to stand with you for unity, solidarity in this community, and it is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you. Let me start by, let me present to you the proclamation that was passed unanimously on behalf of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners, and I look forward to celebrating and enjoying the rest of the morning with you. Whereas the third Monday in January of each year has been designated as a national holiday honoring the birth and life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by the Congress and the President of the United States, and whereas the citizens of Lake County, Florida believe in Dr. King's ideals of freedom, justice, and opportunity for all, and demonstrate this belief through recognition of his ideals and participation in events to be held in Lake County. Now, therefore, the Board of County Commissioners of Lake County, Florida proclaim that Monday, January 17, 2022 shall be observed as a day to celebrate the life and dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Said day shall be a day to reaffirm our commitment to the American ideals of freedom, justice, and opportunity for all. A day for love, not hate, for understanding, not anger, for peace and not war. A day when this country rids itself of the barriers, real or imagined, which divide it and comes together as one. A day when people of all races, religions, and stations in life put aside their differences and join in the spirit of togetherness. A day for our nation to pay tribute to Dr. King and the movement which awakened us the best qualities of the American spirit. Thank you very much, and again, it is an honor to be here this morning. Take care.
Good morning. I am Diane Cornegie, and I'm the very proud superintendent of Lake County Schools, and it is my honor as well to be here today and celebrating the life of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As it was said in the beginning, that today's theme of celebration, standing united in times of change, challenge, and controversy. Really couldn't be a more appropriate theme given the state of our nation today, and we are certainly all living in very challenging times. But in the midst of these issues that may divide us, I reflect on the words of Dr. King, who said, "Unity has never meant uniformity." And he was right. Our varied life experiences create diversity of thought and perspective. And that can be a strength when we are willing to talk to each other, listen, and search for common ground. And there is certainly lots of common ground to be found. In Lake County schools, our teachers, administrators, and staff come from all walks of life. We are diverse in many, many ways, but yet we stand united despite change and the many challenges we face when it comes to doing what is right for every student. And that focus has led to our 90.6 graduation rate for 2021, as just recently announced by the Florida Department of Education. That is above the state average, and it is the second year in a row that we've exceeded our goal of surpassing our 90% graduation rate. Just one example of that here in Leesburg. 5 years ago, they had a graduation rate of 67%. This year, they are just under 89%. And furthermore, not only has our overall graduation rate increased, but it has increased in every single student subgroup. And that's what can happen when you stand united and work together toward a common goal. And this is, as I said, just one example of the many great things happening in our schools to meet the needs of every child. So join me today in recommitting to following Dr. King's example by not letting changing times or challenging situations or the controversies of the day steer us away from the good that we can do when we stand together. Thank you to this community for your continued support of our schools and our children, and enjoy the celebration today. Thank you.
Good morning. Excuse me. On behalf of the District Board of Trustees and the college community, I want to thank you for your time and consideration for the invitation this morning. Lake-Sumter State College is honored and humbled to be part of this year's celebration. The college is your local higher education partner and portal to state and national universities. Our college is a top performer in the state based on our affordability, graduation rates, transfer rate, and student-to-faculty ratio. Our students also perform better than their peers when they transfer to the university system, maintaining higher GPAs, changing their majors less often, and graduating faster than the university's own students. Reverend King once said, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of a true education." Developing the intelligence and character of the students attending Lake-Sumter State College starts here, in this room, in your churches, and in many other rooms and gatherings in our community. It starts with your focus on the worthy objective to support and encourage the success of our daughters and sons and the other members of our extended families in their journey to a college education. The college can succeed, and it's part of that mission because of your commitment to and mentorship of the youth of this community. In support of our mutual commitment to success, today I am presenting 3 certificates from the Lake-Sumter State College Foundation, each redeemable for a $500 scholarship. I know you'll fill in the names later. Thank you again for your invitation to the college to partner with the community in this year's celebration of Dr. King's dream. Thank you.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. At this time, we will have our presentation of Community Service Award recipients. Ms. Lillian Lockett, at this time, following the Negro National Anthem.
It is with great pleasure that I present the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Committee's 2022 Community Service Award recipients. Unfortunately, due to the virus, we have some of our awardees that are not here today, but I still want you to know what great service they've given to our community, so I will also introduce them. But we do have with us today Pastor John Christian. Pastor Christian. Pastor Christian is the founder of Christian Worship Center, Cogent in Leesburg. This ministry has been in existence for 21 years, owning 4 child care facilities, CWC Faith Center multi-purpose building, group home for persons with disabilities, and multiple rental properties. He has birthed Christian Worship Center, South Lake Cogent in the city of Groveland, Florida. Wildwood, Florida is CWC Parazoth, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, and the CWC Conference Center on Main Street. He's a spiritual motivator and has made his mark in the business area. He is a consummate visionary and knows how to inspire others who share his vision. But most of all, he leads by example. Pastor Christian is an humble guy, humanitarian and communitarian. In 1997, he founded the Men of Distinction Leesburg. He was the mayor of Leesburg on 5 occasions. Since 2003, he was the mayor. He was also instrumental in building a 14,000 square foot, $3.2 million multi-recreational center in the Leesburg African American community. He secured the funding for and is the visionary of the Leesburg African American Museum. He is the chairman of the board and CEO of the Community Development Corporation of Leesburg. Pastor Christian also serves as the chairman of the board of the Lake Community Action Agency. This year, he was presented the Leesburg Award by the Leesburg Chamber of Commerce for his leadership in building the Leesburg Resource Center, the placement of the new H.O. Dabney Aquatic Center, and did he have to fight for that, the Teen Center, and constant push for equity throughout the city of Leesburg, Lake and Sumter County regions. Pastor Christian loves spending time with his wife, district missionary and First Lady Constant Portier Christian, and their 4 children. Pastor Christian. One of our other recipients that could not be with us today, that's doing outstanding work in our community, is Pastor Brian Broadway. Pastor Brian Broadway is from the Find, Feed, and Restore and serves as a full-time pastor at Living Message Church, which he founded in 2009. In 2016, he had an encounter with a homeless child who slept in the car with their family. This encounter drove him to seek out the truth about homelessness in the state of Florida and Lake County. After months of studying how to write grants, he wrote and won his first grant and began Find, Feed, and Restore. Find, Feed, and Restore offers a complete housing solution through the implementation of 4 effective and strategic methods, including Housing First, no-cost housing for 8 to 16 months for families with children. Bridge housing, which is no-cost housing for 3 to 4 months for single individuals. Permanent housing, that's affordable housing for working families, which he named after his 2 daughters, Hannah Grace Gardens. And homelessness avoidance, that is for rent, mortgage, utilities assistance for struggling family. Wow, so much need for that. This year, Pastor Broadway led the organization to another land purchase that he now calls Restore Lake. This 10-acre property will offer a domestic women's violence shelter, bring housing and affordable housing to members of our community. We really want to thank Pastor Broadway for all he's doing for the homeless population in Lake County. Cassandra Brown, also, unfortunately, her family is fighting the COVID virus, all 3 of her children. Cassandra is the co-founder of a grassroots civic engagement initiative titled All About the Ballots, geared towards increasing voter participation and overall civic engagement in the Black communities. Her goal is to combine her life experiences, public health knowledge, and her law degree to help combat minority health disparities and advocate for civil rights in communities that lack access and means to effective legal representation. All About the Ballots led 2 voter registration drives, distributed over 400 supply-filled backpacks for back-to-school drives, hosted a John Lewis Good Trouble candlelight vigil, hosted Juneteenth event, co-hosted an event focused on paying fines and fees for returning citizens, and assisted in the efforts to stop the Confederate statue of Edmund Kirby from coming to Lake County. They continue to head up voter registration drives throughout Lake County. So we really want to thank Cassandra Brown for all of her civic engagement. And finally, last but not least, is Ken Thomas. And I'm sure most of you in this room know Ken Thomas because of the Leesburg Resource Center. He currently serves as the Director of Housing and Redevelopment for the City of Leesburg. He has helped everyday citizens to understand the inner workings of local governments while encouraging them to do for themselves as opposed to waiting for local governments to rescue them. Ken created the first business incubator in Lake County. He promoted business and industrial development that provided new jobs for residents. Revitalization of Carver Heights is currently a major focus. The removal of slum and blighted conditions that focus on cleaning up substandard single-family and multi-family housing. Also, eliminating crime in the neighborhood and promoting business startups are his #1 priority. He has spent the majority of his career on redeveloping distressed communities, focused on improving essential neighborhood improvements such as new sidewalks, underground utilities, street lights, drainage, commercial development, property acquisition, new home development, and demolishing dilapidated properties. Ken secured over $7 million of grant funds for neighborhood improvements and helped families acquire and build over 75 homes. This is all while providing resources for job training programs, SAT training, tutoring, culinary arts, and small business startups. Ken is truly a valued asset to our community.
If you would, please stand and join us for the Negro.
I'm sorry. You may be seated for just a second. I have 2 more awards, and I'm going to do that as quickly as I can. This next award is being presented to a young lady who should say no, but never says it because she's dedicated to the best results for community and church projects. For the MLK committee, she has been the person behind anything technical that the committee attempts to do. When she has had enough of our pushing, she will then tell us what she is unable to do. She does not say that much because she is a master of anything that she attempts to do. I recruited this person to become a part of this committee shortly after she moved to Leesburg. I don't think she knew what she was getting into. However, the Martin Luther King Commemoration Committee is much better at presenting and executing programs because of her technical expertise. Her skills in making everything be precise and in order, her skills in technical productions, and her willingness to help. She is the wife of a gentleman named Kevin Connor, and she is a great asset to this committee. Ladies and gentlemen, I present this award for outstanding service to Ms. Cheryl Gibson. This next award is being presented to a young lady who has been our notes and minutes taker for many, many years. She keeps trying to leave the post. However, we keep calling her and asking her to literally stay on her job. When we executed programs prior to the pandemic, she prepared the food items for the Literary Awards program. She helped to line up the entries for our parades. She has been the co-chair of the Ecumenical Service. And most of all, she has been a faithful member of this committee who never says no. When she does leave us completely, she will be missed. Ladies and gentlemen, I present this award for outstanding service to Miss Iona Bowers. They'll take your picture.
At this time, if everyone would please stand for our Negro National Anthem by Ms. Charlene Lacey.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
You may be seated. We will now have our introduction of our speaker, Ms. Ornetta Lockett Slaughter.
Good morning. It is an honor for me to introduce our keynote speaker, May Hazelton. Ms. Hazelton is a native Floridian who was born and raised in Traverse. She is a working retiree, and that word working really goes with what she does. May has over 34 years of federal civil service and 3 years of active duty in the United States Army. She is an experienced human resource professional with 30 years of experience with the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, the Pentagon, Army Headquarters, major Army commands, and various operational level activities. In May of 2021, the Centers for Disease Control tapped her into her talents to work virtually for the Office of the Director, Client Services under the Human Resources Office. In this role, May provides subject matter expertise to support the 125-plus human resource specialists serving a 12,000-strong CDC workforce with a critical mission to protect the nation from emerging threats like COVID-19 and its variants, Ebola, hurricanes, and wildfires. May Hazelton is the recipient of the Meritorious Civilian Service Award, the second highest award and medal provided to civilian employees within agencies of the federal government of the United States. Her hobbies include community activism, mentoring youth through her Church Board of Christian Education, reading, and fiction writing. Okay. She is a member of Friendship CME Church, Traverse, Criterion Civic Club Incorporated, Tri-C NAACP, the Lake County Democratic Black Caucus, the Democratic Veterans Caucus, and Lake County Voices of Reason. May is president of the Traverse African American Heritage Organization and co-founder of All About the Ballots, a grassroots community activism initiative. She is a leader of the Lake County Black Women's Roundtable. She is an active participant in the 2020 Unitarian Universalist Church Social Justice Series and founding member of the organization Pathways to Racial Healing. May's immediate family includes her 89-year-old father, Samuel Reming, and a special nephew, Nick. One of her favorite quotes is, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter," by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And without further ado, let us give our keynote speaker, May Hazelton, a round of applause.
Good morning to everyone. Let me begin by thanking the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration Committee for this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts with you. Indeed, it is an honor, but I promise you I won't be here long. To whom much is given, much is required. That comes from the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 48. If you have ever heard this line of wisdom, you know it means we are held responsible for what we have. If we have been blessed with talents, with wealth, knowledge, time, and the like, it is expected that we benefit others more than we benefit ourselves. The phrase specifically applies to that much is required from one individual, me, you, the collective us, everyone in this room, everyone listening. For none of us lives our lives alone, and none of us dies for ourselves alone. The pastors in this audience, those two over there, they'll say, that'll preach. Yeah. Now, Lillian and Cheryl are looking at me a little side-eyed now, wondering where I'm going with this. Where are you going with this, girl? Don't worry, ladies, I got this. I got this. Over the past few weeks, I read Dr. King's letter from the Birmingham jail, read nearly all his quotes, listened to the I Have a Dream speech, looked for inspiration with Maya, Michelle, Angela, and Ruth. The other night, I listened to Stacey Abrams on a TED Talk. Though I was deeply inspired, I had to find my own voice this morning. It would be supremely easy for me to stand here and spout platitudes and stay in a safe lane. But this morning, I'm coming from a place I call my community, my front yard. And I decided, I promised myself, if I were going to say anything this morning, it would come from a place of truth. Standing united in the times of change, challenge, and controversy is all about what we do with our God-given talents, wealth, knowledge, time, thoughts, and sweat equity for those and the benefit, those other people and the benefit of others. So what is it that I want to say? I want to talk for just a few more moments on being an activist. An activist is a person who works to change a community, aiming to make it a better place for everyone. We may not all be a Dr. King, a Harriet Tubman, a Sojourner Truth, a Rosa Parks, a W.E. Du Bois, a Malcolm X, or a John Lewis, to name a few. Those giants of the civil rights activists, known for their fight against social injustice and their lasting impact on the lives of oppressed people. Their impact was across this nation, indeed across the world. Most community activism is brought about by ordinary people. You, me, us. All of us should wear the mantle of activism proudly. Be voices for change. Step up to the challenge and refuse to be bowed low or intimidated by the threat of controversy. Community activism grows out of a desire to change existing social, educational, political, or environmental conditions. Now, I did not choose to be an activist. When people ask me how I got into activism, I often say it was presented to me, nicely disguised, by my pastor, Michael J. Watkins, involving me in a protest against bringing a Confederate statue to Lake County, coupled with a somewhat chance meeting with my All About the Ballast co-founder, Cassandra Brown, at the Mount Dora Public Library back in 2018. Since those days, every day I get better at knowing what it is that I want to do, that it's not a choice to be an activist. Rather, it's the only way for me to hold on to the better parts of my human self. It's the only way I can operate through the traffic of my life, knowing that, as Dr. King said, and you've heard this a little bit earlier because she kind of stole my thunder, but that's okay. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need to have a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. I joked just then. She said it once, we needed to hear it twice. Going back to not being involved in my community is just not an option for me. That's not an option for me. Standing still is not enough for me. We live in an age where change is not only constant, but it seems like challenges always at our doorstep. Controversy as close as the evening news. While you may not feel like one person can make a difference, joining together with others create change and a positive, lasting impact on those around you. Education, health concerns, voter information, voter registration, community development, and community service. Choose a lane. Find out who's active already. Get in it, get busy, and stay in it. We ought to be duplicating what Pastor Christian is doing with community redevelopment in our cities. We ought to be emulating what Pastor Watkins is doing with the Better Group in the Valleys. Mayor Murray ought to see us at every Clearmount Council meeting. Miss Molly Cunningham, with her superintendent, ought to see us at every school board meeting. We ought to attend and participate in our county and city governments. Commissioner Parks ought to see us. We should be looking at and within our community civic organizations and asking, what can we do to help? Activism is a verb. It requires one to do something. Activism is definitely not a spectator sport. You can't buy a ticket to this game, get it stamped, and then sit back. No, sir, no, ma'am. That's not how it goes. You can't fake activism. You get excited, you get angry, you get overwhelmed, you cry. But you stick with it right up to the fingernail scraping edge, because action is the cure, action is the antidote. Quitting is not an option. Friends, this is hard work. This organizing a Florida Restoration Rights Coalition bus tour in Eustis with Commissioner Hawkins, or a Juneteenth celebration with Cedric Scott in Mount Dora, or a John Lewis Voters' Rights Act candlelight vigil in Tavares, or distributing voter information door hangers in the Black communities across the county, putting together scholarship information packets, bagging items from for a back-to-school bash with your best friend's items from her dentist. Doing that at midnight. Being in strategy sessions with the Lake County Democratic Black Caucus, or the Black Women's Matter Coalition, or the Black Voters Matter Coalition, or the Black Women's Roundtable, or Tri-City NAACP, or meeting every other Thursday with a group of Black and white individual discussion ways to bring racial equity to Tavares and other communities, or writing over 30 public records requests, or conducting some events with youth to find out how to get them out to vote, or giving presentations on the racial wealth gap, or Cheryl, Cassandra, Lillian, Faye, I don't know where she went, Faye, and I, and my church members and the Delta sorority members, encouraging individuals to register to vote in Save-A-Lot parking lots in Eustis and Leesburg on National Voter Registration Day. I've been hot. I've been tired. I've been all of that. But the satisfaction of knowing I'm working united with individuals like everyone in this room who know things are not right in our communities, that there is a lack of something, an obvious inequality, and someone needs to do something. Why can't it be me? Why shouldn't it be you? It's knowing who in this room or who is listening, who has an idea of how we can improve any aspect of our community. Find what moves you, pushes you, energizes you, and just do it. Don't worry about fear or fatigue, because quite frankly, sometimes you get tired of trying, tired of the no's, tired of reading about issues, things, or processes getting in your way or getting something done. But a quote from former President Barack Obama is, "A change is brought about because ordinary people do extraordinary things." When we work in our community, sometimes we're afraid our work will not have meaning, afraid the mountain is too high, the task too big, afraid it won't change anything, afraid people are too set in their ways. But when we don't work, guess what? We're still afraid. Ordinary people, me, you, us, do the extraordinary because we care about our community. The community within our families, our organizations, our faith, secular, and civic organizations. We must make connections between our individual experience and the broader social issues that take action, and to take actions to affect change. I look back on the past 12 months. Familiar routines were halted indefinitely. We're still in uncharted territories trying to find the compass, pointing us to what we can only describe as the new norm. But we've toughed out tough times before. Everywhere you look, there are signs the human spirit endures and strengthens in times of trouble, because the time is always right to do what is right. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left with. Those lines I just recited were recited by that beautiful young woman, Amanda Gorman, when she lit up the whole world with her poem, "The Hill We Climb," at the inauguration ceremony of President Biden. But I say, let us be active so that we leave behind a community better than the one we were left with. As I close, I leave you with these thoughts. You can't just talk about community activism. You can't just talk about doing things. You can't just sit around and wonder who's doing it. You must be about community activism. Face the challenge of organizing, the controversy of standing up for what is right when the crowd is really, really kind of thin. Changing the community begins with you. The work to make the changes begins with you. Dr. King said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy." Where do you stand on community activism? What is your measure? Thank you and good morning.
Because of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's vision, courage, and determination, today we sit together, we work together, we live together, and we pray together. Because of his dream, every child in Lake County schools is offered the best education possible. I leave you with this. It has been my honor to serve as your Mistress of Ceremony this morning. Keep praying, keep encouraging, keep loving, and keep letting your light shine. At this time, we will have recognition of our contributors by Ms. Lillian Lockett, Treasurer, MLK, Lake and Sumter counties, and then we will have announcements and closing remarks. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm just speechless. May, that was exceptional. And believe me, every word she said, she lives it, she breathes it. She works me like crazy, so look out, she's coming towards you. And Mama Hawk, thank you for joining us today. I know that it's a difficult time and with school and you got shortages and all of that, so she does have to leave us. But let's give her another applause for supporting us today. At this time, I'm very honored to thank all of our contributors for the Martin Luther King Commemoration Committee for this breakfast and for ongoing activities, as well as for our scholarships. Number one is Abbott L. Brown Foundation. Abbott L. Brown always support our scholarship initiative. Each year they contribute $4,000, so we are just deeply, deeply honored that they still contribute, that we can award scholarships to some graduating seniors this year and going forward. So thank you, Abbott L. Brown. And before I go into the rest, I forgot our chair said, please, there's lots of food over there. feel free to continue to eat as we talk. And if you need a carry-out, ask for that as well. Next, we have City of Leesburg. The City of Leesburg has provided so many services for MLK, from putting up signs that tells you about this breakfast, for this beautiful building for us to use, and just support us through all of our activities. So thank you, Mayor Peterson. We really appreciate all that you do, the City of Leesburg does for us. And Pastor Christian, over the years, 5 times, we thank you as well. Lake-Sumter State College, Dr. Stanley Sedor, thank you for those scholarships. And the college has supported us throughout. I mean, we used to have the essay contest at the school, and there was like 90 recipients. Now we are doing just high school seniors. And 3 seniors would be very, very pleased to get those gifts of $500. So thank you so much for your contribution. Our gold sponsors is Dees Consulting LLC, the CDC of Leesburg. Pastor Christian, you just always do my book, aren't you? So thank you again for our gold sponsors. Our silver sponsors, the Father's House, First Baptist Church of Leesburg, LPG Urban and Regional Planner, Morrison United Methodist Church, and Pastor Stouffer is also a member of our Dr. Martin Luther King Commemoration Committee, so thank you. Eastside Funeral Home. Our bronze sponsors, Lake County Community Action Agency. See, I told you was on there again. Leesburg Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. Not only do they assist us, but in the past they have also served as our hostesses for our breakfasts when we have the full in-person breakfast. The Lake County Democrat Black Caucus and the Democratic Women Club. Friends of Martin Luther King Commemoration Committee is St. Paul AME, St. Stephen AME, Rocker Cusack Mortuary, Mount Olive Progressive Baptist Church, St. John Missionary Baptist Church, Clifford and Onetta Lockett Slaughter, Greater Leesburg Democratic Club, and Lake County Democratic Executive Committee. So we thank all of you for your contributions, because without them, we would not be able to survive. We are a nonprofit 501(c)(3) organization. If you notice, there were some envelopes when you came in, so if anybody feels so inclined, we are accepting all donations because we have a lot to do coming up in the future that our chair will tell you about. So thanks again for your contributions, and please grab some food before you go. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ashley, for helping us out today. This is our second year of virtual programming for the MLK activities. And we are not apologizing, because what we're doing, we're trying to protect our committee and our community. First of all, thanks to Mr. Minner, the City of Leesburg, our many sponsors and contributors, because we could have not been able to present the programs that we plan and execute each year. Ms. Linda Shepard, our program leader, our speaker, Ms. May Hazelton, great job. Our elected and appointed officials, our program participants, and above all, our outstanding MLK Commemoration Committee members, and the Breakfast Virtual Committee who planned the program this morning with precision and dedication under the leadership of Ms. Lillian Lockett. All of our MLK committee members, will you please stand at this time if you're here? Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks again to our sheriff, Mr. Peyton Grinnell. Thank you, and thank you for always letting us use your honor guards. They do a tremendous job presenting our national flag and colors. Kudos to Dr. Anna and the Channel 2 station, camera crew, and technician. You placed a new twist this morning on releasing the programs through YouTube, Facebook, and Channel 22. A special thanks to Mrs. Carol Spikes for creating and printing our souvenir program booklets. So if you don't have one, you can get one from the back on your way out. Thanks to Ms. Deborah Davis Catering Service for agreeing to alter our plans and prepare a much smaller breakfast this morning. The committee has decided to plan and execute programs throughout the year of 2022. Such programs as the Dare to Care program that would be on Saturday, April the 9th. Please save that date. It's all in your booklet. The Ecumenical Service was planned for this Sunday, but we've changed that to April the 24th, and that will be here at the Venetian Center. We also added this year a day of service. I should say days of service, because what we are doing this year, we're going to present 2 $500 awards to 2 schools. One is Oak Park Middle School, and also to the Wildwood Elementary School in Wildwood. And what we have done with the $500 is we have asked them to purchase shoes for the homeless students. And we think that that is a great thing that we're going to do for these 2 schools. Okay, the other thing that we're going to do is the community street cleanup on East Street. We don't have a date yet, but we will let you know about that. Channel 22 will also post and run the past parades during the week of, January 17th through the 25th, I think it is. But we'll let you know more about that on Channel 22. Dr. Sador, thank you again for the 3 $500 scholarships. We will let you know the students who are involved in that. Also, this year, or last year, we presented 8 scholarships to deserving seniors of Lake County schools and Sumter County schools. They were Jada Brown, Trinity Balash, Janae Hodge, Kyla Schlick, K.O., Robert Seabrook, Kennedy Thompson, Isaac Cree, Ashley Delazine, and Elizabeth Ingo. We are very proud of that because we were able to give like $500 and $1,000 scholarships to these students. And we really, and also $250 scholarships. And we are proud of that. And so this year, we will be giving 11 scholarships to our deserving seniors of Lake and Sumter County. Ms. Deborah Dandy, thank you this morning for being our photographer. We really do appreciate that, but we are just proud of the work that we do in this community and our special programs as we commemorate the life and contributions of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. We salute you and we thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you very much.